Winning consistently in football isn't just about having the right quarterback. It's about building the right team. That's what Coach Pete Carroll emphasized in his recent talk. He shared his strategy for managing the roster, with a special focus on the quarterback position. Carroll reminded us that the quarterback role is one of the toughest jobs in professional sports. His mentor, Coach Bill Walsh, taught him this early on. That's why it's critical to make things easier for the quarterback. How? By running the ball effectively, protecting the quarterback, playing strong defense, and making smart special teams decisions. He was clear. Finding an elite quarterback is rare. Sure, you've got stars like Patrick Mahomes, but outside of a handful of guys, most quarterbacks are either inconsistent, average, or just plain bad. Carroll's approach is simple. Build a great roster that supports the quarterback rather than relying on the quarterback to carry the team. This mindset is key. For example, John Spytek from the Buccaneers mentioned that 43 or 44 of their 53-man roster were undrafted or drafted by the team. That competitive culture paid off. Carroll wants that same energy, making every player fight for their job and creating a system where the team lifts the quarterback, not the other way around. We've seen this approach work before. Take the Chargers under Coach Harbaugh. In his first year, they protected Justin Herbert well and avoided turnovers. Herbert didn't need flashy stats. He just managed the game. And guess what? That formula led to success. The Raiders need to win games when it matters, and the best way forward might be leaning on their defense. Their defensive line is already impressive. With a healthy Malcolm Kuntz joining forces with Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins, they have the potential for a top-tier unit. Now, Kuntz hasn't proven himself consistently yet, but his tape shows top 10 potential. If he fully recovers from his ACL injury, and most players bounce back well from those nowadays, he could become one of the league's top defenders in a year or two. The secondary looks solid too, though the linebacker group could use some upgrades. Injuries hit hard last season, with key players like Marcus Epps, Nate Hobbs, and Jack Jones missing time. Adding more depth will be crucial. Imagine drafting a player like Abdul Carter to pair with Crosby. That defensive front would be nearly unstoppable. The formula for success is clear. Protect the ball, run it efficiently, and let the defense carry the load. The Raiders just need a dependable running back to make that plan work. Following the Ravens' recent strategy of signing veterans instead of drafting unproven backs might be wise. Speaking of the Ravens, their conservative approach, running the ball and relying on defense, paid off. The Chargers found success with a similar formula too, even without starbacks like Derrick Henry. Finally, the quarterback situation is still a question mark. There are potential trade options, but it's unclear if someone like Geno Smith would be realistic. He had a solid year with the Seahawks and might stay put. Still, if the Raiders can solve their quarterback puzzle and strengthen their defense, they could make a serious push this season. It makes sense for Geno Smith to stay with the Seahawks. He's found success under Pete Carroll, and there's no real reason for him to leave now. But that doesn't mean the Raiders are out of quarterback options. Going the veteran route might actually be smarter than drafting a young QB. Picking someone like Shadir Sanders at 6th overall or targeting Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart in the 2nd round doesn't seem wise. This draft class isn't strong, and drafting a quarterback early means you're betting the franchise on him. The Raiders may not be ready for that. Instead, bringing in an experienced quarterback makes more sense. Daniel Jones could be an interesting target. Sam Darnold might be another option, though that depends on whether his team commits to J.J. McCarthy and decides to trade Darnold. If the Raiders want someone proven, they might need to give up draft picks to get him. Darnold's situation is a bit like Baker Mayfield's, who was a gamble that paid off for John Spytek. Free agency might also offer possibilities. Daniel Jones, for example, will be on the market. And while Derek Carr wouldn't be a free agent pickup, he's another name worth keeping an eye on. The key is finding the right veteran leader who can stabilize the offense and guide the team toward success. A more realistic quarterback option for the Raiders could be Joshua Dobbs. He's shown flashes of brilliance when given the chance, especially with the 49ers and during his starts with the Cardinals after Kyler Murray's injury. At 29, He's a seasoned veteran who could bring stability without breaking the bank. Of course, there are other names to watch. Daniel Jones and Derek Carr might be less likely, but Malik Willis could be an intriguing trade target. Currently the backup for the Packers, Willis is under contract until 2025. The Raiders could potentially snag him for a fourth-round pick, a small price for a player with upside. That said, going the veteran route doesn't rule out drafting a quarterback. While taking one in the first round might be risky, there are solid options in later rounds. Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart could be available in the third round. There's also rising buzz around prospects like Gabriel Dillon and Brady Cook. Even Shadir Sanders might slip to the second round, and if he does, the Raiders should seriously consider grabbing him. Balancing veteran experience with a young prospect could set the Raiders up for future success without a complete rebuild. Honestly, I'd even consider taking Shadir Sanders with the 6th pick. But I get where the scouts are coming from. Some say he lacks top-tier athleticism. You'll see moments on tape where he faces pressure and scrambles a bit too soon instead of stepping up and making the pass. Still, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm not a quarterback guru, but I trust John Spytek and Pete Carroll to figure it out. Both have found success going the veteran route, and with the number of seasoned quarterbacks available this year, that might be the smarter move. They could always pair a veteran with a third or fourth-round draft pick for development. What do you guys think about the Raiders' direction under Pete Carroll? Do you agree with their approach, or would you take a different route? Drop your thoughts in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you next time.